Okay, so I am going to show you guys how I made my garland from real greenery, how I made it last year. I might switch it up a little. I don't know if I'm gonna do it exactly the same way, but just gonna show you the general idea on how I did it and what I used, because after I showed the picture on Instagram last year, you guys loved it and wanted to know how I made it, so I thought I would kind of take you through the process. Show me doing it. I'm gonna do something and then go through it with you, like how I did it, because I have my pajamas on, I don't have a bra on, I look like a hot mess, so I'm gonna spare you. So I'm gonna show you what I got at Home Depot and Lowe's and tell you how much they were and stuff. Okay, sorry about the horrible lighting. It's 4:30 and it's getting pretty dark out, but I got two different types of real greenery. My dogs are annoying. This one right here is white pine, I think it was called. I want to say it's, I don't know, 15 or 20 feet. I'm not sure. And it was only like 14 bucks, 13 from Lowe's. This one right here is from Home Depot because they didn't have any of this at Lowe's last night, so I got this one today. This one is 25 bucks. It's really long. I haven't seen big bunches like this big there before, so I guess maybe it's 25 feet. It was raining out. I just grabbed it. Cheaper. If you want less of it, you can just get the bunches, but this is already kind of like wound up and everything, kind of in the shape I want it, so really. I'm gonna string this one on my banister first, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. I'm gonna zip tie. I just have some longer zip ties here. Some of this, I don't know what this is. What are you? It's kind of wire. It's my husband's, but I'm gonna use it. And then I just have some wire cutters. So I'm gonna string up the first piece and show you what it looks like really quick. All right, I'm sorry about my dogs. They just won't leave it alone. They're just smelling it. But this is what it's gonna look like once you have it zip tied. It's kind of looking like a hot mess, but it's gonna look better, I promise. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna get up on my bench here. So I didn't go all the way up the staircase because there's really no need to go all the way up there. I just started right where my ceiling meets my staircase, and I put a zip tie right there. So we're gonna hide that. You don't have to worry about it showing right now. So you can see I kind of have this draping motion, and then I put another zip tie right here. Yeah. You can do this however you want. You can swoop it like I did. You can put it straight down, whatever your style is. And I kind of swooped it here, added another zip tie, and then I went around the banister this way. So it's gonna kind of fall. So this is a very long piece, obviously. It's very long. So I'm gonna have to cut it. Last year I had it draping on the floor. I think I'm gonna still do that. Warning, it makes a huge mess once it starts to dry out, but it doesn't bother me cleaning that stuff up because I like the smell and I think it looks pretty, so it's worth it. So that's what it's gonna look like once you get your base down. Now you can use fake garland to do your base and then just fill in with real. A lot of people do that. I just do it this way because I like the real, it smells good, so but you can do it whichever way you want. So I'm going to trim this off the bottom and show you what it looks like. When you do buy this garland, you'll notice that it is wired together. It's really easy to snip off the wires where you want to cut it off. That's easy, so don't worry about that. Okay, so you can see I just kind of cut it at the bottom. It's already making a huge mess, but that's what vacuums are for. So it does look kind of funky right now. I promise it's going to look better. You just have to fill it in with the cedar, and then that's kind of where you get the nice drapey motions from. So I'm gonna put this stuff aside for either my mantle or somewhere else, and then I'm going to open this up and then start placing that on the banister, and I will show you how I do that. I hope you guys can see this. Horrible lighting. So I did and I'm so out of breath. I did zip tie the start of this bundle right up there again, so we're gonna hide those zip ties. Don't worry about if it's not falling the way you want it. I'm going to end up clipping some of these so that it falls more. Now the difference from this year to last year is I did this the same. I did the pine the same, but I bought bundles of greenery instead of bundles of cedar instead of like this garland type. I did it different this year because I feel like it's going to look fuller this way. It's going to be a little easier because it took me forever to kind of, you know, zip tie or floral wire all of the pieces onto this this stuff. So I feel like this is going to go much smoother. I'm just going to follow this general line that I've already created for myself. I'm using zip ties, like I said. You can use rope, you can use whatever, you know, whatever you want. And I am going to clip off the excess and just try to hide those the best I can. Okay, so by now you're probably thinking like, wow, I got a hot mess. What is happening? But you can clip it off wherever you want. You can, you know, I clearly have to trim this whole side off and then add in, you know, separate branches. I might end up clipping that off and then stuffing it back up into the wire to make it look like it's flowing better. But here is the kind of basis of it all. I do have to fix down here so that it kind of drapes in front of the banister, but I wanted to show you so far, like, there's a lot of there's a lot of zip ties. Okay, but don't worry, we're gonna hide them. And zip ties are, I have found, the best of keeping things together. If you don't like a mess, I wouldn't suggest doing this, but it does make your house smell really good, and it does make your vacuuming smell really good for a while. So I'm gonna cut this extra off right here and kind of maneuver it so it's all pointing down. So now what I'm gonna do to kind of give it a more uniform look, I cut off a big chunk and then I separated it into like little mini pieces, and I'm gonna kind of stuff it up in so it covers up this whole empty section. I'm gonna kind of try to do this while holding my camera one-handed, but what you're gonna do is you're just gonna poke it in there, literally just stuff it in there. And by now it should be pretty sturdy on your banister. It's not gonna go anywhere because you have a lot of zip ties or whatever you have holding it up. And see how it just kind of covers the part that was open. And I'm gonna do the same thing and kind of do it over here too, so it just looks like it has a draping effect. Okay, so I cut all of the extra like parts of the zip ties off, and now what I like to do is go around and kind of take the two different garlands and try to intertwine them. So obviously there's one behind the other one. So see this random, I kind of just try to, I don't know, maneuver it. It's hard to do it with one hand, but I just want to kind of make it look like they're all one piece, and that I didn't, you know, I didn't put one just on top of the other and just forget about it. So I just go down the whole thing and just kind of fluff it together. I'm going to try to hide this as well. I don't like it when there's big branches sticking out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to fluff it all up, and then after I do that, I go back and I cut off more individual branches and kind of try to hide the bark part. So I'm gonna do that and then come back and show you the final look. Another really quick tip is that I take my wire cutters and I go along and snip a few of these once you've already had it all hung up, just so you can't see them, number one, and number two, it'll kind of fall more naturally. Just a couple of them, not all of them, because then the whole thing will start falling apart. But you can go back and try to hide these with other branches. You know, just tuck them behind other pieces that are hanging out. Pieces like this, like, they're obviously going to dry up a lot faster, but you can just tuck it in and it hides the branch. Super easy. So I got mine to the general shape that I want it. So now you can add whatever you want. You can add picks, real or fake. Last year I did eucalyptus, dried eucalyptus. It looked really pretty, but I don't think I'm gonna do that this year. And I think I have to add like one more piece there, but I think I'm just gonna do a strand of lights, which I have right here, drape it down, and I think that's probably gonna be it. I don't know if I'm gonna add ribbon. I like it really natural, really just flowy and kind of, here I am, I'm a garland. I might add a ribbon, maybe at the end, but I don't have any on hand, so I'm not gonna be able to show you that. But I will show you once I have everything cleaned up and the lights on, what it all looks like all together.